is our future selves. We have returned from our Utah trip, but I just wanted to introduce the Monument Valley video because it was so windy that day. I wasn't able to say a whole lot, so I just wanted to give you a flavor for what you're going to see in this video. We stopped at Forest Gump place on the Highway 163 on the way in, so we got our typical tourist shot. You'll also see the Goulding Museum, which has the John Wayne Museum.
John Wayne's cabin and Goulding's trading post was phenomenal.
And then we made our way into Monument Valley. Vito and I had signed up for a tour with the Navajo residents there to do a tour of the Monument Valley. And it is fairly expensive, so it's almost $100, $92 a piece, plus any tip that you give. In the end, I think it was worth it. So Ingrid and Pollyanna did the regular 17-mile loop.
The Valley View tours are worth it, man. This guy Roland, he was a Navajo. He spoke Navajo. He took us to all of his family and friends on a tour. We got inside of a Hunan to talk to one of his sisters. And he took us all the petroglyphs that nobody else can see. We saw stuff that nobody's going to see on this 17-mile drive, so it was worth it.
So hopefully you'll enjoy it, and you'll stick around for some of the future things that we have. This is our tour truck.
The bark and pack it on top, and then it's covered with dirt.
Okay.
It's warm in the winter and it's cool in the summer. The little one is a wet latch. It's heat up some rocks, stack them in there, and cover the opening, and you sit in there and do your sweat. That's the government. When they did the treaty in 1868, they said, "We take care of you. The children are going to be civilized. You're not going to run wild out here." So they took it to sporting school.
So they made you speak the English language, and then did they also have you cut your hair, or?
Yep, they cut us all, man. Took our buns off, our long hairs away. Then they just shaved the whole thing and left a little patch right here on our forehead. They call it the government handle. Leave our hair right here.
Yeah.
They'll yank you around with it. The name we gave it, we're under the control of the government. One to the left.
King of the throne?
Yeah.
Right in the middle.
Right in the middle.
One to the left is bringing us to.
Okay.
And the stagecoach and the rabbit and the bear on the right side.
What's this?
Got the East Mitten and the West Mitten. The story behind this is this was a prospector named Merrick, and he was warned by the Navajo not to come back here to pan for his minerals, and he came back a couple years later and they ended up killing him, and that's where he's buried. The names of these monuments, those were chosen by the Navajo?
After the Civil War, a lot of people came over here and set up their trading posts with the Navajos. And they saw Navajos, they saw an elephant on a picture.
Okay.
And then there's a trunk that comes out, and then they showed them how it's grabbing the grass. Give them that name, Chidaloy. That the animal that's grabbing the grass with his nose. They thought it was a nose. So they gave him that name. That's Chidaloy. That's what they gave him that name. And right behind it is a camel. See, there's no camel out here.
Right.
They showed another picture. The animal with the humps. They call it the Lanskitty. They call him the Lanskitty. The animal with the two humps. That's how they gave him them names. To the right is the Three Sisters. Spaniards is the one that introduced the horses and the sheep to us. our food, our livelihood. Eat wool, get the wool, start weaving, make our clothes. Eat some mutton stew. With
So
fry bread. With
sheep's
fry bread.
pretty much a staple then.
Yep.
Ah, this is the place right here.
Yes.
Famous pictures were taken over here.
John Wayne's spirit is still here.
Yeah.
This is a place where they usually do the photos with the horse on the end. They're not here today.
Rain God Mesa. The rain God.
Oh, rain god.
The hub is here looks like a wagon wheel from space. This whole thing, and then the middle of the hub.
Okay.
Alright, we're going off trail, off the main route now.
Yep. Where the main road ends, that's where the Wild West begins.
Are people living in here?
Yep. That ground is all contaminated. You can't drink the water, or else you go in the dark. Sheep drink the water. We eat the sheep.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids where I'm immune to it.
So you're not concerned then that it passes through the animals to you?
So we've been living with it. A lot of men died from lung cancer working in the mine. Though.
Yeah.
That's the gorilla right here. And you can see all these super-sized rocks. And we got a sleeping dragon right here, back there.
The head is up, but it looks kind of like a crocodile.
Back in there.
Yuccas right here.
Yuccas? Yeah.
Yuccas. Bring it a little bit, make it soft. Put it in water and make it soapy and wash their hair with it.
Okay.
Off the
Yucca
land.
shampoo.
Yep. Living off the land. And then another village down here. Come on in. Right here, cause come on in. It's still
We call this
Oh, this is a Hogan. Hogan.
Howan. We're inside of a Navajo Howan with our friend Roland.
See, Navajos they have a clan system.
Yeah.
If you're in that group, if you're a clan group, that you're that brothers to him. His sisters are my sisters. Yes, they've grown around a lot of Navajos from here and took them on a 300.
Oh, the government put them in a camp, yeah.
They marched them 370 miles to the east.
Yeah.
Put them on a concentration camp.
Yep.
And then after 4 years they've been there, they signed the treaty.
Yeah.
A lot of people died, maybe 2,000 of them died over there.
Look at this, buddy.
Big Hogan.
Hole in the roof.
Big hole in the roof.
Yeah. We were looking for ET yesterday.
Well, you
He
found
was here. The moccasin, the opening is where the foot goes in, and the bottom is where your foot resides. Some petroglyphs over here. How old do you think these are? Okay.
600 to 800 years.
600 to 800 years old.
A monster.
Could be.
And the
then
snake.
And then this one over here. This one has a bird on its head. Look in the future. And one of these
Yeah.
days he will be right.
Look at the
on
detail
wheels.
on these. This is back roads, buddy. I don't think we would have made it with the truck.
This is the ear of the wind.
That's
Oh, hey, look at that right there with that arch right there, buddy. Gotta climb that rock and get on that ice.
You'll get the right between the tree.
medicine man. They dress up in their costume and they put on a mask and they chant and dance around the fire all night for maybe 5 days. And it's a healing ceremony. The Yabe tree.
And what's that stand for?
It's a Navajo healing ceremony.
We've got the totem pole out here, a little bit to the right, the tall one, and way off in the distance is the rooster. I see it. And his face is over here.
Yeah.
We got a sleeping giant over here, and his feet at the bottom.
The Japanese were bricking coats after coat. And then one guy from here was in the communications specialist in the army, and he told the one that's in charge of the military, says, "Why don't you use the Navajo language as sending coats back and forth?" So they recruited 29 Navajos from here, took them to San Diego in the Marine Corps Depot, and they told them to come up with a code using your language. They say there's a lot of saved a lot of lives.
Yeah, sure did.
Back in '69, that's when they say, "Go ahead, talk about it now." Before that, code talker will come back to their town. The kids might say, "What did you do in the war?" It says, we were just radio men." The ones they told not to talk about, so they say we were radio men.
This is known as the thumb. This is known as the north window. You get a nice view right between it. How's your new abode?
It is nice and cool in here.
We're in the John Wayne Museum in Goulding.
He never slept here though,
No.
but he hung out here.
To this day, John Wayne holds the record for the most leading roles of any actor. What really impressed me about Duke was he could stay up late at night, play cards, lose every hand, and drink, but he was still up every morning and knew all his lines. This is a memorial to the Gouldings, Harry and Leon, also known as Mike. This is the Gouldings Monument Valley Museum. You walk into the museum, you've got a little mercantile store, and they do take donations for the museum. I just realized that Leon is really Leona, and the nickname that he gave his wife was Mike. Harry and Leon Goulding came to the valley in '24. They built their home here and then moved into the trading post that's here in 1928. They lived here for more than 40 years. They were traders and friends to the Navajo. Wow, it is pretty nice. Who lived up here?
This is where they lived. Mike and Henry.
Oh, Leona and...
Yeah, Leona, but he
Yeah.
called her Mike, right?
Yeah. Okay, it's nice. All right, Pollyanna, how did Leona get her nickname Mike?
Well, Harry apparently couldn't spell her name, probably couldn't pronounce it correctly either, so he just decided he was going to call her Mike, and therefore it was Mike and Harry.
What up this morning? How was it? What did we do?
It was good. So Ingrid and I drove through Monument Valley.
Yes.
Ingrid was our driver, and I was the navigator.
Yes. I think the highlight in Monument Valley was the Navajo Code Talkers overlook. You could get the panorama of everything. And of course we did the
John Ford Point.
Yeah, John.
That was fun.
So they didn't have the horse there. No, they didn't.
no.
So there was no iconic picture of you sitting on the horse at that point. So Vito and I took a guided tour. What'd you like about that tour?
Well, you went off-road during that tour, so we saw everything that the normal tour sees, plus some Hunans, I guess you call them. Got inside where a lady was weaving and doing sheep hair and combing thing. Showed us some of her grandmother's works that she had hanging up when she was working on those. So that got to get into Big Hogan, where there was a lady playing drums and singing Navajo song. We got some stories from our Navajo guide. He took us to some great petroglyphs right up close. Beautiful petroglyphs.
Yeah, so the difference between just your own guided tour and the one that you pay for is you do get to see some sights that you wouldn't normally see. We saw there was an eye, there was a place where the wind comes through. You mentioned the code talker. He did say that the Navajo from this reservation were the ones that were the code talkers that came up with the code in World War II. And as a tip, if you have a choice between an open air buggy to take tourists in on or an enclosed vehicle, I have to give Vito credit. He picked the enclosed one, and that was the right thing to do, because the other one is very dusty and you don't get the stories that you would normally get if you're in the vehicle.
It's been a great day.
Good day, yes.
Yo, it's not when you know.